Thank you. Thank you, Tamara. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Since Thanksgiving is next week, I took some time to think about what I'm thankful for, and sometimes how things that seem terrible when you're going through them, someday you look back and you think, I'm so glad that happened to me. I am really thankful that my life fell apart during my senior year of high school. I realize that's a strange thing to say, but let me tell you why I feel that way. Summer before my senior year of high school, my dad lost his job. We lived in a small town in rural Western Maryland, and it was very economically depressed. My dad couldn't find a job for almost a year. As you can imagine, that was a very stressful time for my family, both financially and emotionally. When my dad told me he had finally found a great new job, I was thrilled for him, until he told me it was in Phoenix, Arizona. Apparently, I didn't realize the difference between the Saharan Desert and the Sonoran Desert. Because in my teenage brain, I had visions of Lawrence of Arabia going through with the swirling sand, and there was going to be like desert oasis and mirage and all that. I really didn't know the wonderful city of Phoenix and what we have here in Arizona and what we should be thankful for. My parents and my older brother started making plans to sell our house and move right away. They saw this as an exciting opportunity to start over in a promising future. I saw it as the end of my little world and refused to consider it go with them. I was breaking my family's heart, but after all, I had big plans. I was going to stay in my little town and do what the rest of my high school friends were going to do, which was basically work a minimum wage job full-time, take some classes at the community college, hang out, and hope for the best. Besides, I had an older boyfriend, and I just knew he'd take care of me and we would be together forever. I had a great plan, and how could the unknown of Arizona ever compare to the comfortable little life that I was used to? The week before my family was to leave Arizona, my life and my plan fell apart. Within the span of 48 hours, I had my own personal country music song happen to me. I lost my job, which meant that I also lost my ability to pay for school and support myself since my parents were leaving. I still lived at home. When the house was going to sell, I was going to have to find my own place. How was I going to afford that? I also found out something that my parents had long suspected and I failed to realize. My boyfriend was a complete loser. Out of the blue, he dumped me and started dating my best friend. As I let the events of the past 2 days sink in, I realized that I was actually quite relieved. I had been terrified of leaving the security of my hometown and suddenly realized that everything that I had used as justification to stay had been removed from the situation. It left me without the choice because I wasn't making a very good choice. I realized that I had desperately not wanted to be apart from my family, and that I was in denial about them actually leaving. It was only when I had nothing left to cling to out of fear that I was able to see what a blessing this actually was. I had a chance to start over and get out of my little hick town as a young adult with the advantage of still having my family close by, my parents and my brother. What a wonderful thing. I woke up the next morning and started packing. A few days later, my parents and my brother and I made our 2,200-mile pilgrimage from Maryland to Arizona. I'm very thankful for moving to Arizona. I got to go to ASU, a school that has 3 times the population of my hometown. I met my husband, and we've been married for 10 years, and we have 2 beautiful children. The move also helped me understand that I can't let fear of the unknown rule my life. I am by no means a risk taker, but I am more open and adventurous than I used to be. Things have not been perfect since we moved to Arizona by any means, but I don't like to think about what my life would have been like if I would have stayed. I know in the end I wouldn't have been happy. I don't think of it as having to leave anymore. I think of it as escaping and being stuck there. I did some research on Western Maryland the other day just to kind of see how things were going, and they are still one of the most economically depressed areas of that region. I think they were like 305th out of 318 for lowest per capita income or something. It's not great. Next week I'll be having Thanksgiving dinner at my parents' house with my family and my brother. And each year we go around the table and we say something that we're thankful for. And without fail, every year someone will say, I am so thankful that we left Maryland and we live here in Arizona and that we are here together. I'm very euphoric that my speech is over. My icebreaker.